Hello again, third grade, and welcome to lesson 6-4. We're going to talk about specifically the areas of squares and rectangles and how to find those areas. Now, remember, when we're working with a square or a rectangle, like we've talked about in the past with area models, we're going to multiply the sides by each other, the length times the width, to figure out what the area is. Or we're going to do something very similar like we did with arrays, where we figure out how many rows and then how many columns. Remember, the columns are the number in each row. Multiply those by each other to find the area that way as well, or to find our total number. Let's go ahead and watch our short instructional video for this lesson, and then we're going to get started with our notes and guided practice together.
How can you find the area of a figure? Mike wants to paint a wall in his room. A small can of paint covers 40 square feet. Does Mike need more than one small can to paint a rectangular wall of his room? To find out, we need to know the area of the wall in Mike's room. One way is to count the square units to find area. Each square unit represents 1 square foot. There are 48 square units. The area of Mike's wall is 48 square feet. Another way is to count the number of rows and multiply by the number of squares in each row. How many rows are there? How many squares in each row?
Select your answer.
There are 8 rows and 6 squares in each row. Multiply to find the area of the wall. 8 times 6 equals 48. The area of Mike's wall is 48 square feet. Will Mike need more than one small can of paint?
Select your answer.
So let's stop and think for a moment. If that can of paint covers 40 square feet only, and his wall is 48 square feet, we know that he will need some more paint to cover it because he'll only be able to cover 40 out of the 48 square feet of his wall.
Yes, he will need more than one small can of paint.
Now you know different ways to find the area of a figure.
All right, let's get into our notes and our guided practice together. Now for this one, again, we have our title at the top, area of squares and rectangles. Now remember, when you're trying to find the area of a shape, you can count the number of squares inside that shape. You can treat the squares and rectangles like arrays to find the area. Count the number of rows and how many in each row, and then multiply those numbers together. So if I made an array over here that had 4 rows with 8 in each row, I would multiply 4 times 8 to get 32. Now, if I drew that same amount as a rectangle, 4 units on this side with 8 units on this side, 4 times 8 is going to give me, again, 32 square units. So these are very similar, the way you calculate them. Now, if we have another example, we said Sarah's wall measures 40 square feet. The wall is 8 feet high. What is the length of her wall? So over here, let's annotate what we know. Her wall is 40 square feet. So we know that's the area. It's 8 feet high. What is the length? So I have to think 8 times something is going to give me 40, or 40 divided by something will give me 8. Now I know because I use my multiplication facts that 8 times 5 is 40. So even though she has 8 rows, she's going to have 5 in each one of those rows. And usually I would use a ruler for this. Sorry guys, it's a little bit messy on my side, but this way you can see how it's going to be divided up. So the area over here we said is 40 square feet. Now let's take a look at our guided practice for this section. The first question says, Suji's garden is 4 yards long and 4 yards wide. What is the area of Suji's garden? So we know if it's 4 by 4, it's a square because a square has the same measurement on each side. And then we calculate by multiplying 4 yards long by 4 yards wide. 4 times 4 gives me 16 square yards. I have to make sure that I put the correct unit when I write my answer. The next question says the area of Mishi's garden is 32 square feet. The garden is 8 feet long. How wide is her garden? So if we know the area is 32 square feet, okay, we know it's 8 feet long. How wide is her garden? Now over here, we forgot to annotate this one as long as well. 4 yards long, 4 yards wide. What is the area? So over here, if we know it's 32 on the inside, so 32 divided by 8 is going to give me a number, or 8 times a number is going to give me 32. Now using my basic facts, I know 8 times 4 is 32. So I know that my missing side is 4. 8 times 4 is 32, so 32 divided by 8 will also equal 4. For numbers 3 and 4, they gave us the measurement of the sides and they asked us to find the area. So the first thing that I did was I took 3 inches times 7 inches. 3 times 7 is 21. And I had to make sure to use my area units, which is square inches. Here we had 6 feet times 9 feet. So 6 times 9 is 54 square feet. So this lesson, just like the previous ones, are pretty quick and easy to follow through with. If you have any questions about how to calculate these areas, let me know. Otherwise, have an amazing day. Take care, third grade. Bye-bye.